What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the first 100-degree day here in Texas this year. You know what else is also above 100? Summoned freaking Skull quarter-century secret rare, punching way above its weight class to the point someone panic bought this during a buyout for $198. I just don't know what to say to that other than it's already back down to 128 with somebody willing to sell a playset. Then you see 150 and 197, more towards where the buyout flashpoint was. Now, who am I to say that this is way too expensive? I am Summoned Skull's maybe biggest collector outside of Strictly Sealed having that awesome tournament card, but when it comes down to it, I have the Summoned Skull pillow that often appears on stream and on here. I have the pop-up parade figure. I have the Marusho series sticker, maybe one of the first playable versions of it, and it looks freaking awesome. And then it looks even better in its metallic foil version that I think also I have in gold. Then we have the Amada series sticker, 2500, 1200, also a playable old school sticker. You have the OG Extended Art Ultimate Rare that I do have in PSA 10. I also have this sticker series. I have the Bandai card. I have vintage beach towels. And then I have the Bandai more muscular skeletal version. And then you have the more final form in the Hyper Real series. Point being, I'm very passionate about Summoned Skull, and I have more. There's like this little guy up on my desk from a newer series. I keep my Summoned Skull stuff around, okay? So when it comes down to it, I think I watch a lot of things going on here, and I can say pretty safely, unless I've missed something, LOB format hasn't suddenly taken off and popularized. It is kind of A-B in terms of gameplay, and I'm an enjoyer of it casually, but while this is one of the bigger cards for super early formats, I don't see them currently taking off. It could be a future thing and people trying to get in now, but this used to be 30 to 40 early on, and I really hope you got in around more so that price point, even under 30. And yeah, this is ridiculous to me, as big of a fan as I am on this one. Now let's go ahead and get to the modern cards with Evil Swarm Nightmare. This is apparently for Mitsurugi, according to the Discord. I have not seen it in action. I probably should have gone and looked at list, but Evil Swarm Nightmare DT is going up, up, up. And the super rare is also $3+ once again. Last time I remember looking at this card and being bewildered was Dark Pepe format. Then every other time it pops up, I go, ah yeah, I remember this guy. We have Spell Card Monster Reborn being played for something interesting. Apparently in the Malice Mirror, people are teching this to steal Lancia to be able to use later. It reads target one monster in either graveyard, special summon it to your field, but for the rest of this turn, it cannot attack and neither player can activate its effect. So after Lancia has been used, well, hey, that's my Lancia now, and then the next turn, it's going to be able to turn on. That at least is my understanding of the card, and we see it's around $2.50 once again. It had a buyout a while ago that didn't stick that we covered, I think, closer to its release, and it went to about this price at that time. Stake Your Soul is going bonkers. You don't believe me? Click on the collector rare. The lowest listed was 164 earlier. This 140 is actually newer today. And you can see it's bubbling up to those $80 sales through its buyout. And then you have the I just want access to this version getting bought out, and the 10 version is not going to repopulate. Remember, I think it's like 1 in 4 cases when you're looking for the secret rares out of the Dueling Mirror 10s on terms of pull ratios, not even counting for shorts. So yeah, that's back up towards $20 as this deck really proves itself in the OCG. I want to say, I remember MCole40 talking about how he was showing this was bubbling up in the OCG and someone accused him of pushing his stock. This doesn't happen from one YouTuber. This is definitely format warping stuff here. Vanquished Soul here, also Xiaolong, is going up for its ultra rare, the I Want a Copy version. You can see it bumped a while back and now it's rebumping towards $9. And the quarter century secret rare is absolutely ridiculous. Bought out to where the lowest near mint is $280 and sales are actually going into $150. people think the proof is in the pudding from the OCG with this deck and its new support. Vanquished Soul Raisin here, collector rare, has gone all the way to 130 lowest than 135 for the collector rare, and you can see sales bubbling right under $100. Then we have Soul Heavy Burger going as well, bought out to the point of 90 for its collector rare, but you can see most of the sales were in the 60s to 50s. Rock of the Vanquisher Ultimate Rare is kind of stable around the $20 mark right now, but could go up depending on how the deck actually performs over here. I just want to say versus with the OCG stuff, like, that happens. OCG trends get bought out on our market, then they get rebought out sometimes closer to the release, and then when it proves itself, can get bought out again. That's why we often say double down, triple down buyout is when that's happening, even sometimes in a week to two period, depending on the contents of it. But you can see here clearly, Vanquish already has 2 buyout points when we're looking at certain cards. Fantastical Dragon Phantasme is also seeing some OCG trends. Robbie, speaking of, pointed this out to me in the Discord. You can see it was dipping back down and falling out of favor after it got some traction in a previous format, and here it's bumped right back to where it was for its QCR. Luckily, there's tons of versions to play, but I noticed also the first edition from Savage Strike, lowest is like $14 for a first edition near mint. It takes some time to find one. Actually, here's a couple around 13-ish. So good to see that there are extra listings, but yeah, still 13, 14 after tax would be the lowest online. Malice is falling despite success. I told y'all that it was funny to see it start to go downward after it still had success in tournaments but not sealing the deal on wins. Here it goes even further down, under $50. What's happening with this? Well, a lot of people also surmise after the WCQ season this could get hit on the list. So while it's a hot pick for the WCQ and WCQ season, it's not something like a generic hand trap that has longevity right into the next season, no matter the ban list, most likely, because let's face it, Konami's going to want to sell Meows again. While they might want to sell this card too and do little hits on Mouse, another hit really could ruin the deck to a large degree or make it rogue / not as playable. So people are just kind of backing off already, and most people that wanted it for the WCQ already got it, and it's our current set on top of it that's still having its packs pumped out for tournaments, for regionals and mass, that kind of stuff. So the comparison between these two cards, yeah, a generic hand trap's going to do much better than top represented deck and its cards at times. I wanted to have a discussion real quick, and also shoutouts to Bonus Bucks coming back. Use that TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. If you're waiting for this, I think a lot of cards will probably end up going up during the promotion. Bonus Bucks back is one of the best things that TCG player does. This little bit's not sponsored. Using my link is sponsored. So I just want to say, I really expected this to go away when eBay took over. I thought they would look at it and be like, we used to do that, we don't do that anymore. I thought it would end, but kudos to TCG Player and how they're running things and continuing promotions like this. I feel like Ultimate Rare and OTS packs are really struggling. And I think there's an actual answer to this that I came to after thinking for a while. And it's not just the quality, like, U-Bell ARM. I think that on top of it, it's all the different rarity options on specific cards that are in here versus it just not shining as much as it used to. OTS packs used to be the upgrade, and now you have Starlight, Quarter Century Secret, all these other things that people even prefer at times for the top cards. And at the very top of OTS packs, the cards are still coming down, especially when you have that other option to go and grab and play. This has really dented them, though, to the point that I think it's beyond repair. Like Diabellstar, its QCR spiked back up and is still around the $120. And here, this is barely over 10% of that and wasn't able to even gain any of that traction during it and barely comes back up towards 14 where it's available at 13 today. I think that Konami's indiscretion of going, wait, we have an ulti of this, maybe we should pick some other QCRs or Starlights, and them just stamping the foil on them and pushing them out is what's murdered the OTS packs for the most part. Like, Exodia is more its quality. I'm glad the community came together on that one, but it does have a QCR and a Starlight also, and you can see here, nothing above $15 once again in both of these OTS packs that were released. Now, the last one that has a successful card, we talked about Rock recently and why it's going up, but it wasn't successful at first. Chaos Angel is just because people want access to any version of this card, and it's barely above the secret rares by like $10. That's the rarity upgrade of an ulti. That's like when Konami drove ultimates down on the ground. Now, Harpy's Feather Duster was a good choice. This actually got murdered, I think, by the game promo and it coming out because it nosedived pretty close to that range after attempting to be pushed. So that's kind of funny happenstance, but again, a quarter century secret rare coming out pretty soon after we get an ulti version. Now let's talk top end of this, right? Like, recent top end would be Forbidden Droplet here, and it's found its way back into the metagame. It was actually lower, and the QCR is still able, an easier access one by the way, out of the Rarity Collection 1, where we didn't have the Nostalgia pool, so there's more of these running around compared to a lot of the modern sets. It's still rising back up to 2/3 of that, and Infinite Impermanence out of the same set is matching pace with its ultimate rare. You can see market price 119 versus 118. People are going, this matches more of my cards. This goes along with more of them, and even come to consider it to be the higher rarity in some happenstances. Now, Infinite Impermanence could get a Starlight, that could drain the QCR, but it would also drain the ultimate rare, right? It's that thing we talked about, the lack of indiscretion of this already has a lot of high rarity versions, maybe we should do another card. Konami's not doing that, and it's really crashing all these into the ground. And I've seen a ton of you in the comment section, I have heard you, I'm only going for first ed OG stuff and first ed ultis out of packs. That included tossing out these ultis, and guess who else just recently got something going for it? And now, versus the 650 it was at one point for past formats, now going 275, near mint English playset. Top rated seller is Max C, fallen under half. I do think that the OTS market is still going to be there to some degree. I think at some point Exodia gets another attempted buyout despite how pitiful it looks. I think that people will start to look at stuff like you see the Diabellstar rising a little here. I still think that the market has now capped itself way under with all these other options. And the main purpose of foiling things out when we have 4+ reprint sets a year that also offer foil options, it's kind of lost its purpose just a bit, and the only purpose it now has is releasing the old style ultimate rares that don't even look like the old style all that much. Some foiling's improved on a couple of cards, while it just looks terrible and has quality control issues in other places. So I want to hear your thoughts on OTS ultis. Do you just find them to be a toxic asset, an underestimated one at this point when you see $6 Ultimate Exodia that's 80%, 90% common? Let me know what you think. I think the Harpy's Feather Duster is probably underestimated, but it just got its drive-by QCRs en masse where everybody has their hands on them thanks to the game. So, yeah, I personally think that it's not a toxic asset necessarily, but more so it's got a cap on it as long as easy access Starlights and QCRs and those kind of promotions have cards that just shine alongside it, and then people can mix and match them even more than their ultimate rares. I think these fall by the wayside thanks to it. Personally. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy these more in-depth discussions. I like focusing other parts of the market like that, and I do think that it's a bit ridiculous where some QCRs are right now, but it's the hot thing to buy out, and we'll see how it settles, how the 30th promotion goes, how Easy Access Starlight goes, but yeah, this to me is a bit of ridiculousness, if you will.